Hello folks and welcome to a new game for us. This is called Aviassembly. I'm not really sure. It's super cool. I've played this a bit since it came out. It just got released like last week. It's super fun. Let's get into it. So you can go and play. There's new game or sandbox. I'm going to go to new game, but I want to show you sandbox real fast. You can choose the area that you're at, but basically you're building planes and you're completing missions to be able to build more parts. Most of these parts up here in the top left are going to be completely off limits to you when you get started. So you have like a fuselage, you have cockpits and all kinds of stuff. So let's go ahead and throw on the top tier cockpit in the game, which is that one. Then I can go in and add a fuselage, and when I do that, I can stretch the fuselage out to be larger. You can see the weight will increase, the amount of fuel it uses increases, the amount of cargo it can carry increases. I can also click on these things and I can move them around, I can rotate them, I can change their scale up and down, so I can see exactly what I want to do with those. There's tons of stuff you can do here. Maybe I want to have it flare out, so I can do that. Maybe I want to have it flare in, so it tapers back like so. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do in this game, you can do. So I'm just going to quickly throw on some stuff here. When you're building, it's really useful to use this mirror button here. So you can do all of that. You can throw this in there. You can see your center of gravity where it's at. So the wings are in front of the center of gravity, which is usually not optimal. You usually want the wings right around the center of gravity. Hint, hint, Boeing. So we can go through that. We can put on different tail wings. There's all kinds of stuff you can do. So I'm going to do something like that. This looks kind of like a dragonfly. We can have propulsion that we put on, like electric engines we can throw in there. We have jet engines, so I might throw on something like that. And then we can go in and put landing gear on there. And you can see there's tons of stuff. Unfortunately, a lot of the things that are super cool, you have to work at. And we'll go over that over time here. But like I can build this plane. There's other things I can throw on there, but I'm not worried about that. And then we can go and fly the plane and see exactly what it does. So you can see my plane right now is a little back heavy, but we're going to fire it up because we have some engines that are rocking and rolling here. We are going too fast where we broke off the tail already. So you have to kind of pay attention to everything here. I can fold the landing gear in, and then I have this agile plane that can do all kinds of fun stuff. And then when it crashes like so, you just go back to the base and restart. It's not a big deal. So there's no real penalty because it's a sandbox. But what I'm going to do here, I'm going to get out of that part. We'll quit out of that and let's go into the game itself because I think that's far more interesting. Playing with the sandbox is fun, but the actual gameplay of this is a lot more fun than what that is. You can see all this stuff is locked. So we have to have a cockpit because we have to have a place for our pilot to sit. We're going to add on our fuselage. We'll figure out wings, which right now we only have wood wings. So we're going to put those on there like so. Let's get our propulsion unit, and we do have money. This up here is your money that you have. So I bet 350. This wood engine costs 150, so it's rather expensive. And then we'll go in and get the other pieces put on here for whatever we may need to do. Again, it's really important to make sure you have that mirror option. It makes things a whole lot easier when you're playing. But I have that right now. I'm going to try dragging this out a little more to see if we can generate a little bit more space. You can see, yeah, you can see it costs money, but it also adds cargo space. For now, up to 40 in the cargo spot area. I'll throw one of the tail wheels on there, and then we'll go back into our wings and a tail wing. I like a traditional plane will have the one main and then two on each side. I like kind of doing this in this game where you split them. It doesn't actually seem to matter at all, and it works just fine. But now I have this plane. It's able to store one thing of gas. It weighs 8.4 whatever the unit is and can store 40 cargo. We'll check our center of gravity, which is a little back, which is okay, I guess, because the plane's wheels are obviously not level, so it's okay. You can also look at drag and see where drag's going to be. So all of these flat exposed surfaces are going to be a little bit of a drag. Also leading edges of the wings and all that, just like you'd expect in an airplane. Additionally, beyond that, you can paint the planes if you want. So if we want like a official Red Moon rocket kind of plane, we'll go with there we go. It looks ridiculous and I kind of love it. I don't know why I can't change the color of the control surfaces, like these little flaps here, or ailerons. I can't change, but whatever, it's okay. And that gray's a little dark for me. Let's go with that. There we go. I like that better. I can't paint that either, or the propellers, whatever. It's not a big deal. But I'm happy with all of this. So I'll hit my fly button and we're going to go out. And there's going to be a lot of things that happen. Gives you a little bit of stuff here, but you can see we can edit the plane, we can research, and refuel. Every place that you land, you have to refuel. But first, let's go ahead. This is our main base that we have here, and then we'll go through and take care of the next steps. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take off here. We'll hold shift or space, excuse me. You can see the throttle goes all the way up, and then we'll hit S to go up. We can see our tail lifting off the ground there, and now we are airborne. We got to clear these trees, and you just use ASDW to do all of the things. And then we're gonna find this little airport icon right there, and we're gonna try to land at the runway. All of the places in this game have runways. That's how you transport between things. They all have runways. I'm gonna shut my engine off. We're just gonna try to coast in here a bit. There we go. Oh, and then we'll reverse and slow down pretty quickly. All right, so they've had a sudden loss of power. We have to deliver 2 small batteries to keep the hospital running. And when you get to these places, you have quest up here on the top right-hand side. So that's where our wind turbines are, which looks like where the batteries are. And we're at the hospital right now where we need to try to deliver batteries. We get paid in cash and also in spare parts, which helps us go through and research new things. But before we do that, we need to load up some cargo because I'm going to grab, I think I can fit 2 things of medicine, so I'll take those and then I'll refuel. Fuel goes really fast at the beginning of this game, so just a heads up on that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly try to back up here just to give myself some more runway space. And we're going to keep going. There's 1 and 2 ambulances lined up on the runway because, you know, that's a thing. But we're going to go all the way back here. I always refuel, and I'm just going to keep clicking that. I'm going to hold space to increase our throttle, and I'm just going to keep refueling until it goes away because fuel becomes a big problem later in the game, especially as you have more stuff on board. It takes more fuel to take off. It takes more fuel to fly. It takes more fuel to do all of the things. But you can see that we have our next airport that we're landing at here. So we're going to come in. I'll shut the engine down, and we'll just glide in because this is a pretty small little plane. There we go. And we'll come to a stop. There we go. A bird flew into the wind turbine. We need to deliver 2 medicine, which luckily for us, we have on board already. So we got our medicine, and we got 45 coins for the effort. And do we get any scrap? Come on, give us some scrap. Nope, we don't get any scrap. But we do have our stuff that we need for the... we need to get the batteries over. And I believe it's 2 small batteries. What I'm doing right now, though, is just trying to get to the end of the runway. And then we'll reverse and kind of try to get this lined up like so. There we go. All right. I always try to... Unfortunately, there's no taxiways or anything like that, but I always want to try to line this thing up to where it's at. So we're going to load up cargo. I believe we need 2 of these. I'll double check that here. So we can click on that, go over here. You see it needs 2 small batteries, which is what we have. We will refuel, so our fuel's full. You see they do have large batteries, but our capacity right now is only 40, and those take 55. So it's going to be a little bit of a time crunch to get that. But we'll hold space. We'll get the plane fired up here, or find this little like aluminum can with wheels and an engine. The tail is lifting off, so now we can hit the sky, and we're good. You can see it's not a terribly far flight, but there's lots that we can do here. So we'll slow it down a little bit. But you can see just jumping between these 2 spots, even without using much fuel, or really much throttle, should I say, we use up fuel pretty darn quick. And you don't have to worry about making like beautiful landings in this game. They just have to be good enough. So we got that. So we got some scrap, we got some coins, and we can research and upgrade planes and all that stuff. So we got our coins, there's our scrap. And what else do we need? We need even bigger batteries to get going here. So we need 4 small batteries and 2 big batteries. So I'm going to back this plane up here. And what I want to do... Uh-oh. What is going on here? Plane is shaking. Alright. Looks like we had an earthquake. So we have to check around the island and see if there's any help. And there's a weather station, what we can look at here. And it's all the way out there. You can see this is actually a pretty substantial map. I don't know what all it needs, but we're going to load up some cargo here. We'll take some medicine, because I'm assuming people are going to need it, so we'll just take it with us. And we're taking off in the opposite direction. That's okay. And it looks like that tower that was there suffered some damage. That used to be a fully functioning radio tower, is no longer. But that's okay, because I don't know what we need with that. But we're going to fly our plane out here and slowly get to where we need to be. But look at us. We're so pretty. It's a wonderful little existence here. So I'm going to slow it down. You can see we're using up a lot more fuel. One, we took off in the wrong direction for where we want to go, but also we have stuff on board, so we're using up. And it looks like a bunch of wind turbines kind of bit it with the earthquake there as well. So we'll go through, we'll slow the plane down. They destroyed 2 of the wind turbines and injured. All right, so we need 3 medicine and 2 tools. We just delivered 2 of the medicines, so we got some coins for that. And then we need some more of that. I'm going to go to the end of the runway before we kind of get the next step going here, which is to load up some small batteries, because we still can't, we don't have any way to go in and do the large batteries, but we can do the small ones. And I think we'll be able to take all of them here. So yeah, they're only 10 each, so we can take 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll refuel. And again, I'm just trying to... I want to get the full length of the runway out here. Now, if you're loaded up with stuff, you have to be careful because each of the wheels only has a certain amount of capacity that they can deal with. And as we're going up, we're pushing more pressure on this back wheel. So we do have to be careful of that. I'll refuel again, and I'll continue doing so until that disappears. There it goes. Once we reach, I think it's around 20 to 25 miles an hour, it kind of goes away. Now we should be able to lift off. Beautiful. We at least have enough lift and power to get the 40 pounds that we have on board pretty easily over and into the air. And there's some scrap over there I just saw. I don't know if you guys saw it, but there's a little scrap area over there. So we'll take care of that in a moment. But we're going to try to make a nice landing. It was almost a nice landing. It was okay. It was the Spirit Airways landing of things. All right. So we'll go in here. We'll get the small batteries. We got some coins for that. Oh, we need to get some more medicine here, right? So load cargo. We're going to take 1 more medicine. We'll refuel. And we're going to go for it. I don't think we need to do anything other than just take off. It looks like 30 miles an hour is where the cutoff is. And I'm going to fly out to the right-hand side here and make a turn and try not to hit this bird. Because I remember over here somewhere there was scrap. So we're going to try to see if we can find that. And then we'll land. I think we have enough fuel for this. If not, it's okay. But we're going to go in here. There it is. See it? There's what we're looking for. We just got to fly over it. And we got 5 new scrap parts for ourselves. You see there's other airports popping up. And then we're going to go back here. And hopefully come in for a nice easy landing. Like so. Oof, oof. Alright, we got more medicine. So we got more coins. And now we need to get them tools, which I'm not really sure where that's at. We're going to refuel, and we can't load any more cargo because if we take a look at our goal here, they want 2 big batteries, and we get paid decently, like 235 for that, which is good. But let's go ahead back to our base. So we're going to go to base up on the top right-hand side there. We can do research, so that's what I want to do first. We can research new engines. We can do new wings. We can do fuel tanks, new cockpit, which is interesting. I think we might do that. Maybe we'll hold off on that for next time. I don't know. But let's go ahead and take a look here. I definitely want a new wing. So we'll unlock that. And yeah, we'll do a new cockpit as well. And then we can go in and edit our plane. And we're going to replace this. We're gonna rebuild this entire plane. So let's go ahead and rebuild the entire plane. We're going to start off with a new cockpit. So that looks good. We had our power set up. We're going to use the same engine that we had before because we can't do anything better. But we need to be able to store at least 55. So that should be 40, 50, 55. All right, we have that. We'll throw on our new wings, which look very nice. We'll turn on our center of gravity just because I want to make sure we, have it set Boeing. And then we'll go in here. We'll add on, we'll add on our new tail wings. If it wants to let me. Let me turn off center of gravity here. Oh, I can't because I don't have any money. That's why we're having problems right now, because I don't have the money to do so. So I might have to go back and restart all of this. Let's see. This costs 100. This guy's 200. That's where we're running into problems. So we're going to go back with the old setup here. And let's get this back so we can add on 35. Good God, this plane's going to be enormous, but that's what it has to be, I guess. Let's get our engine in there. We'll get the tail parts put in like so. And put on a center of gravity again and see, can we afford those new wings? We can. Lovely. All right. We have our power solution already, and then we'll just put on our tail. Oh, do we not have enough money for that either? Goodness gracious. All right, we have one for those, but we don't have enough for that. So we're going to have to get rid of these wings, I think. Put this guy in there, and then we'll go back to our wings, and hopefully we can afford the cheap wings. Looks like we're going to be okay with that. How much are these? They're 150 a piece. Okay, so we're only 20 off. We're not far off being able to afford them, but we can't afford them yet. But that's going to be our plane for right now. Let's go ahead and fly it, and we're just going to go fly out to go get the medicine. Or I guess we don't need to go get medicine. We just need to go in and solve our other problem here. So this guy should start coming up here. Looks like the speed comes up. Oh god. 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 Okay. That's going to be a big problem when we have a full load of equipment. I don't know if we're going to be able to make it or not. But we'll find out. And that's one of the fun things about this game is you kind of get to explore and see what the heck's going on with various different things. And it may or may not be working. All right, but we're going to... Oh, God. Thankfully, it doesn't matter if you hit real hard like that. I'm going to refuel. Back up to the end of the runway because very clearly we need that space. And then we're going to punch it. And we're going to hope and pray that we can get up into the air without hitting these trees at the end of the runway. Also, airport designers, don't put trees at the end of the runway. It's not good. Open space. Open space is good. Trees, not good. All right, so we're going to slow this down. You can see we're using up a lot more fuel just to make these little jumper flights, but that's fine. Well, we got a signal loss. Something's going on there. Okay. And we are hitting hard, but it doesn't really seem to matter if we do that or not. I'm just trying to get down to the very end of this runway so we can maximize our space. So we're going to keep this bad boy going just a little farther. We'll do that. Spin this bad boy around. And then we'll back this up. All right, so we'll refuel, and we're going to see if we can get one of these big batteries. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but we'll try it out and see what's going on. Most of my playing of this game has been in the sandbox mode because sandbox mode is really fun. There's lots of interesting things to do, but the story mode is interesting as well. So I think it's more interesting than the building of things, but I don't know if we're actually going to be able to take off here or not. Let's see if we can jump up this hill. Use that. Oh god. There we go. See? No problem. So we'll do that. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. So then you can go back and we'll go back to the last airport and see if we can just scrub off a little bit more runway space. We are facing the wrong direction, so I need to go forward here. And then we'll turn it around and see what happens. So we'll do that. I'll flip around once we get to the very end here. We'll do that. All right, then we'll kill the engines. We're going to reverse this bad boy. There we go. It's going to sit right at the end. We're going to load up a large battery. We'll refuel. And I'm going to back up just to the edge of this. You see now that warning where we can't do any more, so we don't want to break off that wheel. It's kind of important. So we're going to take off. And hopefully we'll be able to maintain actual flight this time. It's preferable. We're up to 80 miles an hour already. Come on. There we go. All right, we're airborne. I'm going to keep it low for now. And hopefully we can generate some lift. Oh, okay. We got lift. We got lift. Come on, baby. Oh, we lost our rail. All right, let's go back to the base and edit this thing because this design is not working out for us. So we're going to have to edit the plane. And our center of gravity is there. So I'm going to see if we can bring these back just a touch. Same with this. I'm going to bring that back a touch. And we'll see if that does anything. I don't know if it will or not, but again, that's the fun part of this game, is experimenting to see what it does and what it doesn't do. So I'm going to, again, back up a touch here. We'll refuel the plane itself, and then we're going to go. And if this doesn't work, what we're going to do is just go back to the old plane design that we had, where it's a much smaller plane, and we will hopefully be able to find some other places to fly and figure out what we're doing with it. But I'm going to just play with this. It's one of the things I like about these kind of sandbox explore kind of games, is that you can just do that. You can explore and have some fun and just see what's what. So we're going to go in here. I'm assuming we're going to need to use better engines, or I think the other wings would help out a lot with more lift. That's probably the most important thing. Oof, that was a hard hit. That's probably the most important thing that we can do here. All right, but I'm going to reverse the plane back here. We're just trying to get some fuel. I don't like how much of this we have to actually hit speed-wise to be able to fly. All right, so let's take a look and see what speed we actually need to reach to be able to leave the ground here. Come on, baby. You want to fly. There we go. Okay. It was most of the runway, but we did get airborne, and we are able to generate a little lift here. Still a little bit of a slog here, but that's okay. Can deal with that. So we're going to bring this in. I want to land a little farther down the runway, I think, this time. And there is another airport. That's probably the weather station that they showed us earlier. And I saw another one over there. All right, so we're just going to allow ourselves to do that. We'll swing around like, whee! All right, and then we're going to shoot and back up all the way here. There we go. Refuel, we'll load up that cargo. We're going to take just the one. And we're going to, again, just try. I might try to shoot for this gap over to the left-hand side here. The hill's nice because it gets us airborne a little faster. No, I want to go for the hill. The hill works. All right, so I got that. All right, we're just gonna try to see if we can. Nope, we just can't generate enough. Okay, so we're gonna have to go back to the base. We're gonna edit the plane. We're gonna go out to one of the other places and see what there is to explore on this. So let's go edit this plane. This whole area needs to get shortened. We're just gonna get rid of all that. All right, throw that on and that. Maybe we'll put the nice wings on there for now, just to see if that does anything meaningful for us. And then we'll put on our last wheel there. And what I might try to do here, if I can, is click on this particular section and scale it, not bigger, smaller. It does add a little bit of space for us. So now we have 35 is what we have there. There we go. And with our center of gravity, I'm just going to move this back a touch. And these I want to move forward a touch. All right, let's go ahead and fly. It already looks like a better plane. Let's see. We're reaching speed. We're able to get airborne easily. We should be much more fuel efficient as well. We're not carrying nearly as much weight as our last plane was. So let's see if we can get all the way out to the the wind turbines. Let's see if we can make it to the wind turbines without having to do too much here. But you can see all the birds. The tower fixed itself. That's fun. Look at all the birds. And while you're flying, you're also able to open up the area here and just kind of see where you're at or where you're pointing or what you need to do. So we're going to try to get in here, and all we're going to do is refuel here, and we're going to go up to the weather station. I think that's our next kind of clear goal that we need to do. So we're going to do that, and there's another place over there. Okay. So we'll do that. We'll slow the plane down. reverse a bit here, although I don't need a lot of speed or space for this to actually do its thing. And then we're putting too much stress on the wheels by going backwards too fast. So we're going to do that, and we're just going to try to find that... we're going to fly to that base right there. You can see that we didn't even need anywhere near a full runway to be able to get that. So we're fine there. There's our weather center, so hopefully we'll be able to figure out what caused that earthquake possibly. I'll shut the engine down here, and we should be able to glide in. No problem. There's a desert over there. And... oh yeah, there we go. That was... it's not pretty, but it was better. Alright, they got that, but what else do they need? Help by delivering materials. What do you need to reinforce? Alright, so let's open up the quest here. They need lumber and wood logs. Okay. Looks like up there is where the lumber camp is, but you can see that it took basically all of our fuel to fly from here or from there to there. I think it's not that far off. Maybe we'll fly. I don't know. Let's attempt it. Worst thing that happens is it doesn't work, right? So we're going to head out that way. Fly out there. I think we're pointed at the right spot. Yeah, we are. All right, I'm going to cut back the throttle a bit because we don't really need to be flying super fast. We're keeping a... oh, yeah, that's what we want. Yes. Okay. There's what we're looking for. We're not in the red yet. Hopefully that stuff's not too heavy. Otherwise we are not going to be able to make it. But again, we're discovering parts of these maps here that we haven't had before. So that should be useful to us. And we should be able to touch down here without any problems. They're trying to clean up. What do they need now? They need batteries. They need... let's take a look here. What do you need? Not that. Select new quests. What do you need? They need 4 small batteries. Okay, we can definitely work with that. That's not a problem. We're going to load up some cargo. Well, we need to see what it weighs first, but I am going to make sure we move down here like so. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Easy, airplane. This plane really wants to go, man. Alright, I'm just going to refuel here, load cargo. What do we got? Alright, we have tools that are 25. Lumber is 45, so we can't carry that and we can't carry that. But we can take a tool. Only one. And I believe it's the windmills that need tools. Yeah, we need to deliver 2 tools to there. I think we should be able to make that flight. So, I'm not gonna... ah! No, no, no. Okay. I'm very bad at controlling the planes when they're on the ground. Planes are for the air. So, I'll increase thrust a little bit here. Try to get ourselves centered on that run. And then once we're centered on the runway, we'll keep refueling because we need to have full fuel. All right, and I'm going to just make sure I'm pointing... yeah, if I fly basically due straight, maybe a little off to the right, I should be able to get to the batteries. Because these guys need batteries and the other one needs tools. So it should be a nice relationship between the two. And we are airborne. And we're just going to fly straight. And luckily, this engine has enough power to do all these things. Hold on. I saw some scrap. There we go. That may have been dumb, but I can live with that. Alright, there's a town. Looks like there's a town there. There's another town over there. And I guess we're going to have to land at this town because we're low on fuel. Because I decided to go look for scrap. So we'll come in here like so. And we still have more of this weird stuff going on. All the mysteries on games. They got hit. What do they need? So taking a look at this, they need batteries, medicine, and fruits. We're kind of far out there right now. I kind of want to get up to the lumber camp and see where we can go because the lumber camp has tools, which is something we need for lots of stuff. So we're going to get to the end of the runway here, we'll go through and figure out what we need to do. But we do have our things set. So you can see that we set an objective. It's there on the bottom right-hand side, which is incredibly useful. So we need to collect some small batteries. And you can see over there on the left-hand side that we have those batteries identified on our little tracker. So we'll fly over to them, pick up some small batteries, and go do our thing. The only thing I wish it had on there was that it told us the number of items that we needed as opposed to just the general item. But that's not a big deal, and it's something that could probably be easily corrected if there was a need for it, or I just need to remember the numbers here. But we're going to come in, we're going to make a super graceful landing. Ready? Here it comes. Look at this grace. Oh yeah. Oh, that was a solid landing right there. All right. So we got the delivery out there. Got some coins for it. And we need one more set of tools. Now, the thing that's cool about the coins that we just got, I think what we're going to be able to do is we found a lot of scrap and stuff. We're going to be able to do some more things here. So let's get ourselves rearranged here. We're going to load up some batteries. We can take up to 3 of them. I think we need 4, but you saw there's a little green check mark there. So maybe we have enough. I don't know. And then you have that little yellow exclamation point towards the center of the screen there. That's where we're heading out to. So it's 6, I don't know if it's miles, grid spaces. I don't know what the units are, but we have to fly pretty far away to go get there. And we'll see if we can make it there in one stop. I'm not entirely sure if we can or not, but we'll figure it out. But our main goal right now is just to collect money and scrap so that we can research new stuff and we can make planes that are capable of carrying more things farther, quicker, all of that. Because right now, we can't carry that much. We can do it efficiently, but we saw from our failed attempts at carrying heavy batteries that we just don't have the ability to do much there. Ooh, there's scrap there. We'll have to come back and get that. Ooh, never mind. We got it. Fantastic. So we're going to fly here. We're going to land, and I think that will wrap us up here for our first video of this game. I'm really into this game. I really think there's some really cool potential for things. There's a lot of monotonous back and forth kind of stuff that I wish was a little different, but I get why they did the way they did, and I know it's early game, so it's taking longer and it's a little harder than it should, like it will be down the road, but eventually we'll get to a point where we're set. But folks, that's going to wrap us up here for today. We got some money. We're up above the 150, so I think we'll be in good shape, and I will see you next time. Thanks for joining me. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.